everyone, this is Doxy Mom and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't done so already, I greatly appreciate if you hit that little red subscribe button. You can ring the bell for notifications, and if you like this video, just give it a thumbs up. Well, Miss Indy and we're here today to bring you the news in 15 minutes or less, so let's get started. Now guys, if you missed President Trump's speech at Turning Point USA, and I'll leave a link, but he spoke to a large group of teenagers yesterday, and it was just awesome. Don't you just love our president? So, this is your daily reminder to pray for President Trump and his family every single day, and to be praying for the White Hats so they will win this war against the deep state, which they seem to be winning, especially after today. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. We'll get there. Now, OAN, they interviewed John Solomon, and he is so smart, y'all. But he said just a few weeks into the Mueller investigation that Mueller tried to create a plea deal with a Ukrainian oligarch named Dmitry Firtash. Now, Firtash was under a criminal indictment for 3 years at that point. And Mueller tells Firtash, he says, listen, I can potentially make all your charges disappear if you can find me some dirt on Donald Trump. Well, Mr. Dmitry Firtash, he couldn't find any dirt on our wonderful president because there's no dirt to be found. So, here's your sign, Mueller, right after the start, that you knew that there was no collusion. And of course, when Representative Briggs in the testimony today asked Mueller when he knew there was no collusion, well, Mueller wouldn't answer him. But I'll leave a link to OAN and I'll leave a link to Golden State Times if you want to go over and watch all of the testimony. But then Louis Gohmert, now don't you just love him? Now his very first question was, who wrote the 9-minute comments you read at your May 29th press conference? He was asking this to Mueller, because we all know that Mueller did not write that statement, and he stood up there and he was nervous and all of that. But do you know how Mueller answered this very easy question? He said, I'm not going to get into that. So Louis says, well, that's what I thought. You didn't write it. And then he goes right on into his next line of question. He didn't miss a beat. And he just basically established the fact that Mueller and Comey, oh, well, they're big buddies, even though Mueller kind of didn't want to say that. And of course, that Mueller, he had hired a bunch of people that hated our president to be on his team. Then Matt Gaetz, don't you just love him too? He and others want Mueller to talk about Christopher Steele. Well, Matt points out, he didn't charge Christopher Steele with lying like he charged others with lying. And of course, Mueller, he won't talk about Steele, nor would he talk about Glenn Simpson, Fusion GPS, and others, because Mueller says this multiple times, and I'm going to quote him, this is under investigation elsewhere in the Justice Department, and consequently, it's not within my purview. Department of Justice and FBI should be responses of questions on this particular issue, end quote. So, did you catch that? Steele, Fusion GPS, Misfit, and others, well, they're being investigated. So this is wonderful news, guys. Now, especially since Jim Jordan, boy, he sure did want to know about Misfit, didn't he? And said 3 times that Misfit lied, but states how Mueller, well, he didn't charge him with the crime, yet he charged many others for lying. Then Jim just lays out the whole story. He talks about how they went after Carter Page and got the FISA warrant, but with George Papadopoulos, almost immediately, he gets surrounded with people like Halper and Downer and Thompson and Misfit to spy on poor George. So George tells Misfit, before he knows he's a spy, that Russians have dirt on Hillary Clinton. And then Misfit tells the FBI, and this whole investigation starts. So Misfit basically gets the special counsel started, and he lies and isn't charged. And, you know, Jim just wants to know why. And, of course, Mueller says he can't get into it. Then Jim asked the bombshell question. Is Misfit Western intelligence or Russian intelligence? And Mueller says he can't get into that either. Well, according to everything that I've heard, Misfit is Western intelligence. He was working for our either FBI, C_A, one of those agencies, and he was sent to spy on George Papadopoulos. And now, Misfit, well, he's being investigated by Barr and Durham. Won't that be interesting? Now, guys, this started with dirty politicians terrified that Trump would win this election, which he did, and that he would expose their crimes. And what do you think is going to happen? Guys, they are panicking, and Mueller, he's panicking too. Now, today, President Trump came out and spoke to reporters, and I'll leave a link, after Mueller testified, and he said that this was a witch hunt from the beginning. It was a disgrace with what happened. It's been bad for our country, and they should be ashamed of themselves. President Trump said that Schiff, Nadler, Pelosi, Schumer, and all of them knew it was phony stuff and it's all nonsense. Well, I have to agree 100% with you, Mr. President. It was a bunch of nonsense. Anyway, President Trump goes on to say this was a very big day for our country, for the Republican Party, and you could say it was a great day for me, but I don't like to say that. Well, I am sure that my subscribers would agree that it was a great day for our president. Then he said that the Dems knew it was a hoax, but he thanked the Republicans for fixing our country, or for fighting for our country, and he said in the end, they didn't get away with it. And he goes on to say that he thinks that the Dems, that they hurt themselves for 2020 in this testimony today, that their party's in shambles. They lost so big today. They've got the squad running the Democrat Party, and they're going to run that right off a cliff, guys. But this was a devastating day for the Democrats. Then he said that that this has been collusion with the media and with other countries. So, in my opinion, he's warning them. Because remember what 17 said? That if the Dems or the media or Mueller provides false and or misleading information, that AG Barr, well, he'll be forced to declass all the documentation so the public will know the truth. Well, guys, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see because 17 did post today, and I'll just leave a link to the QMAP. I'll be honest, I've had these nice gentlemen, these workers in my home all day putting down some new flooring, and they were, making lots of loud noises, and I just couldn't hear half my hearing, so I'm a little behind on my research, and I apologize. But I did look at post 3473, and it's entitled, Mueller is a Puppet Who Attempted to Regain Control of the FBI and Protect the Deep State, which we all knew that, but today, in my opinion, Mueller, he just looked defeated. And, he knows he's guilty of treason because Mueller was involved in Uranium One. He covered up for Epstein, and he plotted to remove a duly elected president. So all I can say is tick-tock, Mueller, because Gitmo awaits. And I want to read you this. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. When anything is exposed by the light, it becomes visible. For anything that becomes visible is light. And I found that in Ephesians chapter 5, verses 11 and verse 14. Well, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Please share my content. It's free. And until next time, this is Doxy Mom, and God bless you all.